So when I went to college, I still maintained my relationship with God. I had the
Mhm.
Holy Spirit, and I began to just be a light on the campus, and started a Bible study. And football players were coming, different people were coming just come, and people came to church. People came because I was an RA, and I just maintained that. But that's where there was like an increase of my level of seriousness with God, and it could have went both ways, but God won on that side of the stick. God kept me. And I can tell you that right now. I've only been with one woman, and that's my wife. Okay. And there
Amen.
would be many challenges where I could have, slipped up, but I maintained that relationship with God, and He's the one who kept me. Don't look at me like, oh, he's a strong man. That was
Yeah.
God. Because I'm telling you right now, I have many opportunities to like fall into temptation, fall into those different things, and like I had many influences, cousins, different places that I could have been or arrange some things to happen. It just didn't happen, but God kept me. And I could truly say, like, God won that battle. It wasn't me. I just held on to God, and He took me through because there was some challenges.
'Cause
Definitely.
I need you to look into that camera and say again that you have only been with your wife.
I've only been with my wife. Nobody can say, oh, I had a piece of that. Nope. I've only been with my wife.
Man, let me tell you, this this is listen, oh, you're like, what's saying, like one of those rare Pokemon cards, man.
Yeah.
We like Sorry. But I mean, I think that is so admirable. Also, one of the things that I admire about you in conjunction with the way that you carry yourself, is that, because that's something that I didn't do, but you know what I'm saying? Like I want it for my sons.
Hmm.
It's something that I want, like for the young men that I'm mentoring, the people that the kids that go to our church.
Right.
And I think being able to see that it is possible,
Hmm.
makes it more realistic.
Hmm.
I think growing up in the church the way that we did, a lot of times people would just say, "Don't do that," not really give you reasons, or you're
Right.
just like not doing it because they said so. Well, if I'm at home and you say don't have no cookies unless you ask me, and when you're gone, I take one and I see, oh, I didn't die. Like, what I'm saying, just like Eve. Well, you want to eat the fruit, like, you know what I mean? Like you're going to do, like do that. But when you see somebody who was able to that was able to hold on, and not just hold on, but to have experienced temptations in
Hmm.
those ways, experience like people saying stuff about you,
Hmm.
you know what I mean, like wanting to be, and knowing that you can be that guy, and
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, like in school, and not taking the opportunity to do it, being able to see somebody who did it. Because again, it's one thing for somebody to tell you, right,
Hmm.
on, that you should do it, but being able to see somebody and be like, yo, this person actually did that, so I know that it's available to me and you and my family, so I could definitely say to my kids, like, no, like, yo, look at cousin Trey,
Lord.
is, but I think it's so, like, that's so important, because there's a lot of people that say that it can't be done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that say, and I'm glad you also said it is because it's because of the Lord.
Hmm.
But I think also because of your willingness
Hmm.
to hold on to the Lord in those situations,
Hmm.
not because it's easy, but just going back to what you said earlier, is it worth going to hell over?
Yeah.
And not, and I think sometimes we even think that we're gonna, it's, again, it's an Eve moment. We feel like we're gonna we might drop dead in that moment.
Mm.
But then when you do it and you survive, and you're like, oh well, there's nothing to it. You continue to do it, but it's like, there is a such thing as a slow death.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, and just because you don't get caught up right away doesn't mean that it's not having any effect on you. And I think, that's another thing, is we underestimate the way that sin affects our hearts.
Mhm.
Um, and so, but anyway, like I said, I think it's so it's such a blessing to be able to say and to know, like, this is the way that I live my life in it. Like, if I'm able to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that that you can be able to, because people will look at you again and say, well, there was something special about this guy. Like,
No,
the Lord
no,
really, he
don't do
really just
that.
had his hand
Don't
on
do
him. And
that.
you know what
Nope.
I'm saying? Like, but
Uh-uh.
is like, no, it's that the Lord had said, had put a conviction in your heart,
Mhm.
and you decided to hold on to him
That's right.
instead of going into those other things. And it's, and I'll put in contrast our grandfather,
Mhm.
William James Baymon Sr.,
Mhm.
um, because what I admired about him was he had been in so much and he had gone through so much,
Mhm.
um, of his own, of his own volition, right?
All right.
But the Lord was able to save him, and when he got saved, when he got reclaimed,
Mhm.
he never went back.
That's right.
He did everything that the Lord was asking him to do. He lived his life in such a way, um, and to have seen him, I mean, and to had known, because we didn't see it, but to have known that he was out there and doing the things that he was doing to be able to come back, to be able to see that, I always looked at granddad like, yo, because he is who he is, I know that the Lord can really redeem my life.
That's right.
Um, so you know what I'm saying? Like, so, so I'm saying that to say, we'll move on. Just, you know, the legacy of William James Baymon, the name,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, is such a beautiful thing to be able to see, and to be able to be a part of, to know, because he's like, I'm seeing the Lord work through him, and I see the Lord working in your dad, and I see the Lord working in you, and you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
it really is a legacy. So I want to say something else, but we'll save it for later, because I want to, you supposed to be talking,
Lord.
but
All right.
so so how, you know what, when did you realize that you were called to be a pastor?
When did I realize? I would say when others begin to see it in me when I didn't see it in myself. Specific example, um, I was a teacher in middle school,
Mm,
Veritas Prep, and I was in a class with seventh graders, and this young lady, her name was Natasha, and she's like, "Mr. Bateman, are you a pastor?" Like, no. She said, "Well, I feel like you're a pastor, and if you're ever pastor, I'm coming to your church." One person said that. Then, one of the saints' children that stopped going to church, but she was like, "If he ever becomes pastor, I'm gonna go to that church." And I'm like, "Okay." Then Pastor Damien Mack, years later, he's at a youth service, and he said, "Prepare for the pastor, prepare for the pastor." And I'm
mm,
like, "Wow." So it's just confirming. I knew God called me, um, and you can't run away from your call. People who are not saved, people who are not even in the church, would be like, you something about you, brother. What is it? You a church boy? What is it? And so I remember when I first got saved, this guy in my class, he was like, "Did you get baptized or something?" I'm like, I just came that next day after that Sunday, Monday, and I was just different,
mm.
in the sense of my seriousness. What I wasn't trying to say, "Hey, I'm saved," but just people saw it in me,
Yeah.
and I knew that God had called me to lead